Hi there, my name is Kat. Welcome to my channel. So today we'll just be going over a few of my most anticipated book releases for 2024. So a lot of these are going to be more heavily focused on the first half of the year, which is pretty normal because we haven't really gotten as many announcements of things that are coming out in the later half of the year. And a lot of these are just ones that are sequels or from authors that I know I like quite a bit. So that's going to be much more of the emphasis on this one. I'm sure in midway through the year, I'll do another one of those videos just going over some of the announced releases for the second half and things that are sounding really interesting. So yeah, welcome to the video, welcome to the channel, and let's dive in and take a look at these. I think there's about 15 to 20-ish that I want to go over. So I'm going to be going over month by month, just kind of breaking it down to the few releases that really caught my eye each month. In January, there's 3, and all of them are sequels. So first off, we have on January 9th, The Atlas Complex by Olive E. Blake. So this is book 3 in the, I guess it's just called the Atlas series. I don't know if there's more to it, but it's a dark academia series of a group of students who are like incredibly proficient in magic, who are brought into this mysterious like Atlas society to start like really honing their magical skills. And they are like the most elite of the elite magic users, the smartest, the like most impressive. And we're following them as they go through this journey of discovering more about the society's secrets and whether or not they really want to be loyal to it and to each other. So a lot of this is about like the relationships between these 6 people and how they're just kind of coping with dealing with this situation. I really liked it. Book 1 was a 5-star for me. Book 2 was only a 4-star, but I'm really excited for the 3rd installation. And I might be wrong, but I do think that this is the last book in the series, so it'll be interesting to see. Then on January 16th, we have Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands by Heather Fawcett. So this is the sequel to Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia to Fairies, I believe is what it's called. It was like a really nice book about a studious researcher who's trying to learn more information about fairies and then like gets involved in this plot. It had like a really nice like academic rivals to lovers story that I enjoyed quite a bit. And I'm really excited to see where it goes in this one. And then January 30th, needs no introduction, is House of Flame and Shadows by Miss Sarah J. Maas. Obviously this is on the top of every single person's like most anticipated list, and I think for good reason. This series is so incredibly cool, and I'm like beyond excited to see where it goes into the next one. Like the anticipation is so insanely high right now, but I really can't wait for this one. Okay, now I have one book for February, which is on February 15th. We have An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson. I might be wrong, but so this author, she wrote A Dowry of Blood a few years ago, which was this incredibly good book about the wives of Dracula. And I might be wrong, but I do believe that this takes place in the same world. But it's like an academic kind of dark academia rival type of book, and I might be wrong, but it does sound like there's some kind of like bloodlust storyline in it, so I am thinking that it's in the same world. I can't remember because I know that S.T. Gibson's coming out with 2 books this year. The other one, Evocation, it's either this one or Evocation. One of them is set in the same world as A Dowry in Blood. I just can't remember which one, but I think it's this one, and I'm just incredibly excited because it had this like really creepy gothic like romance type of vibe, and I'm really excited to see what else she comes out with. There's nothing for March that caught my eye, but in April we do have like a crazy amount. So I guess it's just like a huge publishing month. To start off with, there's Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez on April 2nd. So in this one, we're following a man who has this like reputation online as every woman who dates him immediately afterwards goes on to find their soulmates. So we're just following his romance. Also on April 2nd is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana. I believe that this is set in the same world as her previous book, The Secret Society of Irregular Witches. And I'm really excited because I love this world. I love the characters. I love the writing. Like it was just a really fantastic, like witchy book. But this is somebody who has a second chance to get powers that they had lost. There's very little that's been announced about it so far, but Wild Love by Elsie Silver is coming on April 9th. And I believe we're following the brother of a character from her Chestnut Hills series. Then also April 9th is The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. So she writes really good like haunting, creepy books lately, so I'm excited for this one. But it's set during the Spanish Golden Age, and I believe it's a maid who's discovered to have these powers, and the family starts using them and using her to their advantage and like really trying to better themselves in society using these abilities. April 11th is A Promise of Peridot by Kate Golden. This is book 2, the sequel to A Dawn of Onyx, which was a fantasy romance that I enjoyed a fair amount last year. It's just taking place in this world where there's a bunch of kingdoms. All of them are kind of named after different gemstones, and they have some type of magical ability kind of corresponding to these gemstones. But there's a big war taking place when the Onyx Kingdom comes in and starts like overthrowing and taking over certain things. But I really like this one. I thought it was super interesting, and I'm definitely excited to see where the series goes next because I think it's fun. And probably my most anticipated book of the year is on April 23rd, we have Funny Story by Emily Henry. So I love all of her books. I love her romances. This one I'm a little confused about. So I think it is a woman dates her ex-fiance's new fiance's ex. It's something like that where either they're dating or they're pretending to date to try and make people jealous, but it's like a very complicated relationship and they're going through this like really, really intense like relationship. It does sound interesting. It sounds weird. It sounds like a very strange relationship setup, so I am interested. In May, there is The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren on May 14th. So this one we're following a fake relationship between the heir of a grocery store chain and his ex, who is just, I guess, a free-spirited artist, and they fake date to try and get an inheritance. Like, I think he needs to have been in a relationship to get this inheritance that he was left. Then in June, we have Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. This is, so in this one, we're following somebody who has to keep their relationship secret because the person they are dating is involved in a company that's doing a hostile takeover of her company. So they have to keep it secret because I guess people wouldn't approve. And that does remind me that I also forgot another Ali Hazelwood book, which is coming out in February, and it's called Bride, and it is her first fantasy romance book, and this one involves vampires, so very, very excited for that one. July 16th, we have Business Casual by B.K. Borison. This is another installation of her small town romance series. I love it. The first one being Love Light Farms, and all of them take place within this small town and employees of this farm. Really, really love it. Love this town. It's one of those towns where like the characters are all just like kooky side characters and the town itself is almost a character, you know, like it's really, really nice. So we're just following 2 more characters in this, and I do believe she said that this is her last installation in this world, so that makes me a little sad, but I am excited that we're getting one more. On August 6th, we have Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid. I don't know really anything about Macbeth. I think I read it once, but that was quite a few years ago, and I'm not a huge Shakespeare fan, so this isn't really something that I'm going into because of my anticipation of it being a Shakespeare retelling. I'm going in because I quite like Ava Reid, and a lot of her books have worked really, really well for me, so I'm hoping that she'll be able to put like a weird spin on this. And she does a lot of books that kind of like have a horror-esque feeling to them, like it just tinges on something kind of creepy, kind of unsettling, and I'm hoping that she'll do that with this one as well. On September 10th is Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune. This is his sequel to The House on the Cerulean Sea. I'm really excited for this one. I really, really loved the first book. It was like one that made me feel incredibly emotional. I cried quite a bit, and I'm expecting that. I'm expecting to be back in this world and like feel all of the heartwarming things. Very, very recently it was announced that on December 6th we are getting the Stormlight Archives #5 by Brandon Sanderson. I can't wait. This is probably going to be, this is going to be such an amazing book, and the hardest part about this one is that it is the end of the arc 1 within this world. So this is the end of Kaladin's story, the end of most of the characters that we've grown to love at this point. So this is the end of this current storyline, and afterwards it's going into another one. So this one I think is going to be painful. We are definitely going to be experiencing a lot of endings, which is hard, but I'm really, really excited to see where this world goes because this is probably my all-time favorite series, and yeah, the anticipation is just insane at this point. Like I truly, truly cannot wait to see where it goes. And then I have one more that I'm going to talk about, which I don't think we have an exact release date. I'm only putting this on as I think it's going to come out in 2024 because it's Red God by Pierce Brown. I'm only putting it on this list because I do remember him saying that it was anticipated to come out pretty quickly after Lightbringer to wrap up the series. Lightbringer came out July of this year, July of 2023. So I have a feeling that it's going to come out in 2024. I feel like it's going to come out towards the end of the year, but I do have a very strong feeling that we will be getting the wrap to this series. And yeah, there you go. That was some of my most anticipated releases for 2024. I'm incredibly excited for this year, really excited to read all of these books and see what else comes out. So thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next one.